Hi guys, welcome to Just Vintage Crochet, and today I have something really fun for us. It's a little bit time consuming, I'm afraid, but the most beautiful things sometimes are. So this comes from one of Deborah's old time crochet patterns and designs. She was very generous to give me an entire box of these, and I have just been going through everything. So this is the one I found for us to make. I went ahead and scanned it and printed it off so that I didn't ruffle through these pages too much because it's old, you know, it's pretty old. And so this is the one I found for us. Isn't that beautiful? So like I said, it's a little time consuming, but it's one of those things that when you make it once, it's in the vault. You can say I made that. Very special looking. They call it table mat. I just call it a beautiful doily. I don't know. It's gorgeous. So what you're going to need for this, I'm not exactly sure how much. They don't say how much cotton. So I've got two of these 1,000 yard size 10. It does ask for a cotton size 10. Okay, I've got two 1,000 ball of these. So I've got 2,000 yards. Actually, I've probably got 2,500 yards because I've got a half spool over in the little nook back there. So it just says a fine. So these are not rewritten, even though these magazines came out in the 70s and in the 80s. These are not rewritten to modern terms or to make it any easier for us. They're literally just taken straight from the original pattern and then compiled into a magazine. So it says to use a fine steel crochet needle. Well, this yarn calls for a 1.5 millimeter hook that is a modern, it says size 7. Maybe that's an old school size 7 because it's a modern number 2. I have the 1.5 millimeter hook here. That's what we will be using. And little bonus pattern here. Isn't that beautiful? We need to work that one too. That one's from 1929. This one here is from 1915. I do believe it is written in UK terms because the term single crochet doesn't exist anywhere in this pattern. And the entire pattern is virtually made up of all single crochets, but they're calling these double crochets. These are not modern US double crochets. These are single crochets or UK double crochets. So for simplicity's sake, since the majority of my viewers are US pattern readers and followers, I will be translating everything into modern US terms. You can pick this pattern up. There is a link in the description box down below, so just bear in mind, I will leave a note into the pattern that you pick up that everything is written in UK terms. So you see how it says double crochet all around, 2 double crochet in the first stitch. This is all single crochet, so look for the footnote that I mark that. Also, I'd like to point out just a little shameless plug here real quick. I did start a vlog channel. It's not necessarily crochet centric, but we do talk about crochet. It's called Just Karina, and it's literally just me hanging out, showing you my life, and we just hang out together. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, I do already have one vlog up. At this point, I may already have 2 vlogs up. We just kind of go, I'm on a hunt for doilies to make a doily curtain. So the first vlog, we're on the hunt for some doilies and other things, and a hurricane was a-coming in that one, literally Hurricane Hillary. So it's just a hangout place. It's not necessarily crochet centric. It's just a place for us to hang out. So you'll find a link to that channel also in the description box down below. So meanwhile, let's get into what we clicked on this video for. Grab your size 10 crochet cotton, whichever color you want. Since I have an abundance of white, I'm going with white. Now, it wants you to chain 2 and work 12 single crochet into the first chain from the hook. And so I'll show you a little bit about that, but I am going to make this with a magic circle. So chain 2, my first chain is a little bit big because it does say to work 12 single crochet into there. So there's 1 and there's 2. So you'll want to go into your first chain and just start working single crochets, 12 of them. If you're not comfortable doing it this way, you can probably get away with chaining 3 or 4 and forming a ring with your chain and going about it that way. I am going to make a magic circle, magic ring, There we go. Chain 1 to lock it in. Oh, that is my microwave. I'm sorry, I'm making lunch. So I tighten this up a little bit and let's go. We're gonna make 12 single crochet. Of course, I always like to leave a pretty good sized tail for some very secure weaving in at the end. There's 2, 3, 4, and 5. I will be right back. I'm gonna work 12 of these, and then when you make your 12th one, just join into your first single crochet with a slip stitch. I will be right back. Okay, so worked my 12 single crochet. Let's slip stitch into our starting single crochet here. I'm going to chain 1, tighten this ring up. There we go. Now it wants us to work 2 single crochet into the very first stitch. All right, I sometimes struggle to see what stitch I just slip stitched into. So let's work 2 single crochet into this first stitch. There we go, 1 and 2. That first one was so tight, I need to redo it. Sorry. If something is worth doing, it's worth doing right, right? At least as right as we can. There we go. 2, then 1 single crochet into the next, and that's the repeat all the way around. So now we're going to work 2 into the next, and 1 into the next after that, and then 2 into the next after that. So I will be right back. Just keep working that 2 into the same stitch, then 1 into the next, repeat all the way around. It says at this point we are starting the corners. There are 6 corners. Okay, now for the next round, I ended with 1 single crochet because we started with 2 into the same stitch. So we're just going to slip stitch into the top of our starting single. There we go. Chain 1 and turn. So how this is going to work for a little bit of homework, as they gave us homework. So it says right here, single crochet all around with 2 single crochet in the first of each 2 widening or increases of the last round. Then turn. Repeat 3rd round until there are 4 ribs. These are the ribbing right here. This is the ribbing that they're talking about. So that's probably going to be about 8 rows because it takes 2 rows to make a complete rib. So it says here, until there are 4 ribs, always working under the back loop stitch to make this slipper rib. Then we move on to the next section being the open work here. So here's how we're going to do this. I did practice with it a little bit. That's why my thread looks crinkled. So right here, you can see this is where our 2 stitches together in 1 stitch are, our increase. We're just going to call that an increase from now on. So starting into the back loop only of our very first stitch, work 1 single crochet. There we go. There's 1. Into the next stitch over, work 1 single crochet. Now that we have approached our increase, the first stitch of our 2 stitches that make up an increase, this first one here gets the increase. So into the back loop only, we work 2 single crochet into that first stitch of the increase. Now we work 1 into the next. Here's our next increase right here. So we're going to work 1 into the next again. Now into the first stitch of our next increase over, back loop only, we work 2 stitches into the same stitch, our next increase. So now we're going to work 1, 2, and then an increase. Here we go, 1, 2, and right here we work our increase, 1, and 2. 1, 2, increase. So 1, oops, 2, increase. 1 and 2. 1, 2, increase. And again, 1, 2, and the last stitch of the round is an increase. And then we slip stitch into the first single crochet of the round. Go ahead and slip stitch through both loops. Chain 1 and turn, and we're going to repeat that same concept. So since we ended with an increase, we ended with 2 single crochet into the last stitch. We're going to start with 2 single crochet into the very first stitch. Let me just confirm exactly where my last, sometimes it can be a little tricky. That looks like, oh, there was only 1 stitch worked there. Ooh, glad I caught myself there. Okay, 1 and 2, there. Okay, caught my little error there. So into the very first stitch of our first increase, which will be this more elongated stitch here, we're going to work 2 single crochet right into that first stitch. 1 and 2. Now we're going to work our way over to the next increase. So that's going to be 1, 2, and 3. Now into the first stitch of our increase, we work 2 single crochet. We work another increase. Then we work our way over to our next increase right here. So that's going to be 3 single crochet. 1, 2, and 3. And yeah, there we go. And we work 1 and 2 into the same stitch. 1, 2, and 3, and into the next stitch over, we work 2. 1, oops, and 2. So keep working this repeat until you get back around to the beginning. Slip stitch in your starting single crochet to join. I'll be right back. Let's close this round up. I just worked my last increase. So now we have 1, 2, and 3. And my first single crochet seems to have twisted off to the side a bit. So there we go. Slip stitch into the first single crochet. Well, now we're going to turn and repeat all of this. Chain 1, turn. Since we ended with just a single crochet, we will start with just a single crochet this time around. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's our increase. Right here is our increase. So let's work 2 into the first stitch. 1 and 2. Now we will work 4 single crochet, 1 into each of the next 4 stitches to get over to the next increase. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Here's our next increase right here. So that first stitch of our next increase gets an increase. So every row will work out like this. So the next row, there will be 5 single crochet between the increases. and the next row after that there will be 6, and then there will be 7. But remember that every other row you're going to start with either a single crochet or an increase. It depends on how you end. This row here we are going to end with an increase. So when we chain 1 and turn, we will start with an increase, and it's just going to be that way until we have 4 rounds of ribbing. So yeah, it looks like we have 2 rounds now. 1, 2. So 2 more rounds of ribbing after this. And I think it takes 2 rounds to make 1 ribbing. It does. Okay, so we're going to start by chaining 4, counts as a double crochet plus chain 1. Now skip the next stitch, and in the next stitch over, work a double, chain 1, skip the next stitch, and in the next stitch over, work a double. This will be the repeat all the way to the corner. Chain 1, skip, work the double, skip, chain 1, skip. Now we are at our 2. These are our 2 single crochet into the same stitch, our increase. So you're going to chain 1, skip the first stitch of the increase, and into the second stitch you're going to work a double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, chain 1, skip the next stitch, and in the next one over. So this is going to be the repeat all the way around. I am, pardon me, I am working through both loops, by the way. I tried this at first, just working through the one, and it was quite loose and flimsy. So it just feels a lot more secure working through both loops this time around. Skip the next stitch, and now it's changed on us. Now, and it did say in the pattern to do this into one of the 2 increased stitches. It didn't necessarily say it had to be the second one or the first one. This time around, it looks like we are going to be working into the first stitch of our increase. So bear that in mind. It probably won't be the same on every corner. So chain 1, skip 1. Now into the first stitch of our next increase over, we're going to work our double crochet, chain 2 back into the same stitch, and work double crochet. Chain 1, skip the next stitch, which is the second stitch of our increase, and in the next one over, there you go. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm going to finish working this all the way around. There you go. Close this round off with a chain 1 and slip stitch into the 3rd chain up. 1, 2, 3. And I think we're going to turn, but not chain 1 yet. See, we turn this way? No, we'll turn this way. And I think we're going to slip stitch under the chain 1 right here, because it does say that with the wrong side facing us, we are to work 2 single crochet under the chain 1 space of every space around, but it doesn't say to work into the tops of the double crochet. So now I'm going to chain 1 and work 2 single crochet right here. And then just keep working 2 single crochet. Nothing with the doubles, I guess. And it says to work 3 single crochet under the chain 2 space of the corners. I'll read it to you. Okay, so that's how we ended with the wrong side of the work towards you. Work 2 single crochet under each 1 chain of last round and 3 single crochet under the 2 chain at each corner. Work 5 more rounds of single crochet, widening as usual, which should give you 3 ribs on the right side of the work. Oh, I see. We're working these right now. Okay, we're working these right now. So we're going to continue to do what we did here for 3 more ribs. So that's going to be a total of, I believe, 6 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to be like 6 rows of single crochet. So I guess this is row 1 of our of our 6 rows of single crochet to create that ribbing effect. So, okay, here we go. 1, 2, under the chain 3 corner. 1, 2, and 3. My question is, which one do we work our increase in on this chain 3 corner, right in the middle stitch? Should we work it in the middle? I guess so. 1, 2, 1, 2. So work this all the way around and work your 3 single crochet into each corner chain 2 space. But it said to work under the chain, not in the chain. So here we go. We're going to work this all the way around, and I will be back and we will start the second round of ribbing together. Okay, let's close this round off. I worked my last 2 single crochet into the last chain 1 space. Now I'm going to slip stitch into my first single crochet made. There we go. Chain 1 and turn. So we should probably start with an increase since we ended with a single crochet, just keeping to the same logic of how we were working these. So that's what I'm going to do. But first I need to make sure which is my first stitch. Okay. So this is not a stitch right here, not a stitch. This is my first stitch right here. So chain 1 and turn, work 2 single crochet into my first stitch. I don't know how many stitches to count between. I ended with 9 single crochet between the increases when we were doing the 4 ridges. So here we go. I guess we're going to learn together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think I'm going to work into that middle stitch right here. That's 10, 11, and 12. So right here into this middle stitch, or the 13th stitch over, I'm going to work my increase. And then carry on. Let's see if there will be another 12, if I got the counts right on this row. I'll be right back. 12 works. Here is 12. And in this middle stitch here, I'm going to work my increase. Okay, I will be right back. I'm going to finish working this all the way around. Put my hands on my lap so I quit popping my hook. I'll be right back. Okay, I wound up working 16 single crochet between the increases. Now for the next section, we are going to work this section right here. So how it wants us to do that, we're going to start with a chain 1 and into the same stitch we just slip stitched into, work 1 single crochet, work 1 single crochet into the next stitch over. Now chain 3, skip 1 stitch, and in the next 2 stitches work a single crochet into each. That's 1 and 2, and chain 3, skip 1 stitch and work 1 single crochet over the next 2 stitches. This is the repeat. Chain 3, skip 1 single crochet, and in the next 2 work 1 single crochet in each. And then we'll work our way up to the corner there. Chain 3, skip 1, work 2 single crochet, 1, and then in the next stitch over, that's 2. 1, 2, 3, skip, work 2 single crochet. Now into the corner, chain 3, skip a single crochet, and over the next 2 single crochet, no different than what we've been doing. Chain 3. So this is the repeat all the way around. Skip and work your 2 singles. Okay, I'll be right back when we get back around to the beginning. I hope this is correct. That's the way I translated it anyway. Okay, now we're coming up on our next corner. So just carry on. Now we're going to work this corner the same way we worked this first one. Go into the first single crochet. Oops, so sorry I do that. I hope it's not annoying. Chain 3, and then into the next single crochet over, work another single crochet. Then just jump right over to your next chain 3 loop and continue the pattern all the way around. So when you get back around to the beginning, come on back and we will start the next round together, okay? Okay, let's go ahead and close off this round. We are working in a continuous round, so we are going to, I already have my chain 3, go back into the same chain, work my last loop. Now jump on over to the very first loop, which is our corner, and work another corner. There we go. I will mark that. And we just carry on, and we're going to do this for this one more round here, and then they're going to have us do something else after this. So work this one round exactly like we worked the last round, and then come on back. Make sure that you work your corners in your corners, okay? I'll be back. Okay, so we're going to close off this round, but this is confusing me just a little bit because it's not matching what we see in the photo. So I don't know which to do here. So it says that this part here is correct, okay? It's going to say work 3 single crochet under each chain of the last round. Work 3 single crochet under each 3 chain of the last round. Right, sorry. Then work 6 rounds of single crochet, widening at the corners as usual and turning at the end of each round. Then work 1 round of open work like the first one. So it's telling us to work this portion right here, okay? The 6 rounds of ribbing and then 1 round of open work. It's given us all this homework. And then it says, and 3 rounds, not ribs, of single crochet and fasten thread. But tell me I'm not crazy. Doesn't this look like more ribbing? That doesn't look like just straight rounds of single crochet, not turning. That looks like ribbing. See, all the way around. Look at this. Look at that. That looks like ribbing if I ever saw it. So I'm confused. What do I do? Well, for now, I know what I'm going to do. For now, I am going to just jump right over and start working my 3 single crochet. 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to mark that first stitch. And in every chain 3, we work 3 single crochet. I'm assuming even in the corners. Then work 6 rounds, widening at the corners as usual. Oh, that's the 6 rounds, but this first round here is just 3 single crochet under each 3 chain of last round. So it's not telling us to do anything particular with the corners, but I guess the next go around, you know, that third stitch, that middle stitch of those corners, I would work the increase there. So let's work our way over to the first corner. 2 more chains. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then our first corner here. 1, 2, and 3. I kind of want to mark those corners, even though I can clearly see them. I like to be able to visually just see stuff. Yeah, I think I want to mark those corners, just to make life a little easier on me. Mark that middle stitch, because that's where I'm going to work my next increase in the next round up. So this is what you need to do, and I mean, you can mark your corners if you want to. I did. I think it's going to be a little bit helpful. Probably not entirely necessary, but at least a little bit helpful. Ooh, I wish I could quit popping my hook. That stitch was big. Okay, I'm going to get out from under this camera so I can work this, and I will be right back. Okay, worked all my single crochets around. I even moved my stitch marker over to the middle stitch. So all of my middle stitches of my corners are marked. That's where I'm going to work my increases. Okay, so from what I can see, the way I counted it, it's going to be 20 single crochet between the increases. So we are going to start with a single crochet. And there we go, right into the first stitch, back loop only. So that's 1, 2, 3. I'll be right back. It's worked 18. Here is 19 and 20. And then we work an increase. 2 single crochet into the same stitch. So you will end with a increase, and you know, you don't even have to work this last stitch here, because then that would add an extra stitch you don't need. So just work your increase and slip stitch from this direction. We're working this direction. So you'll work all the way around and then work your increase, and don't worry about this stitch right here. Skip over it and slip stitch into your first single crochet, turn, chain 1, turn, and immediately start with an increase, just like we were doing down here. So the math just confused me at first, but it's fine. So okay, I'm going to work 20 single crochet between the increases. The next round it will be 21. The next one after that it will be 22. And we are meant to do this. It looks like we are creating 3 ridges. So 6 rounds. Yes, 6 rounds. Okay. It wants us to work a round of open work when we're done with the 6 rounds. And then it wants us to work 3 rounds, not ribs. Let's see here. Starting at one corner, work 1 double crochet in each stitch, just halfway across the first section. Okay, that's when we're going to start working like this. That looks like ribbing to me. I mean, please tell me I'm not crazy. If this is ribbing, and this is ribbing, and this is ribbing, this is not for some reason. I don't know. It says to not work the ribbing. The person who made this did work the ribbing. I suppose it's entirely up to you if you want to work the ribbing or not. I want to follow the pattern, the written words, and I also want to follow the picture. I guess I'm just going to follow the written words and not work the ribbing. You know, it is what it is, I guess, right? Okay, I'm going to say that is a choice entirely up to you. Okay, I'm going to continue to work these stitches, and I will be right back. I'm going to work my 3 total ridges, so 6 rounds of the ribbing, and then I'll be back and we can start the open work together. Okay, so here are my 3 rounds of the ridges, and I have decided while the person who made this that they chose to use the photo for did opt to make ridges, I'm going to follow the pattern and not work the ridges in these last rounds just because I want to see what the difference is. And we will be able to see what the difference is because we have theirs and then we will have ours. So we will see the difference. Now we're going to work 1 row of open crochet and then 3 rounds. I keep confusing the rounds and rows, forgive me. So 1 round of open crochet and then 3 rounds of just straight single crochet. So, because it does say right there, not ribs. So here we go, 1 round of open. Now the last time we started off with a chain 4. That is our double crochet plus chain 1. We skipped 1 and in the next stitch over, we worked our double crochet and I am working in both loops. Skip 1 and at the corners work. Now, if you look, I don't have a V-stitch on my starting and they don't say to make a V-stitch. You do need to make a V-stitch in all the corners, but for some reason it doesn't seem to matter that you don't have one at the start. You really can't even notice it. I was looking at this. I can't tell because the picture is so blurry, but I think there are V-stitches on all 4 corners, but it didn't seem to bother my work. So I'm just going to work it exactly the way I did before. It seemed to work out okay. So here we go. 1 round of open crochet and then 3 rounds of just single crochet, not turning back and forth because I think it does mention that. 3 rounds, not ribs, of single crochet and then fasten thread. So not ribs, I'm taking that as we don't have to turn, just keep working. Like I will still slip stitch to the start to close the round off and then chain 3 and do all that, but I'm not going to worry about turning. Okay, so I will be back whenever I have the 1 round of open crochet done, the 3 rounds of single crochet done, and then we will cut and move on to this portion here, these decorations.